I appreciate you taking your time out to, speak so raspy, and I just wanted to kind of give you a chance to introduce yourself for people who aren't as familiar with your work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so my name is Rose Spit. I'm from Pontiac, Michigan. That's right outside of Detroit. I represent Michigan. I represent the Midwest, and I'm out here trying to get it, man. MC extraordinaire.
It sounds good. It sounds good. So you, I read your bio, and you started out doing a lot of shows and DJing yourself.
Yeah, yep. I started off as a DJ. My cousin is one below, and he's like, to me a legend. You know what I'm saying? But he's in a group called Binary Star, and then so I DJ for Binary Star, and then he was also in a group called we were also in a group called Subterraneous. And we toured around the country, man, and then I would also do local house parties and club nights and stuff like that when I was DJing. And it was really, honestly, the reason I started DJing was to kind of clear my I was like nervous with public speaking. So the way I kind of figured is if I get up there and get on stage, I can kind of quote unquote talk with my hands and kind of get over that fear. And then once I got up there, I started grabbing the mic, talking into the mic, and after that, I would step around. At the end of the show, I would come from behind the turntables and spit a verse, and like after I started doing that, it was like, I never want to DJ again.
So you realized how much you enjoyed the rapping aspect of it.
Yeah, for sure, definitely, and I still DJ, to this day, but now it's things that I have to really want to do,
Right. That makes sense. And you recently put out an album that's been doing. I've seen a lot of great reviews for it, and I took a listen to the album, and I thought it was great as well. Could you talk a little bit about the album and how that came together, and what made you pick certain producers, certain features, things and certain topics to talk about?
Yeah, well, the album is called IV Life, and it's where I'm from. I'm from Pontiac. It's a small city right outside of Detroit. But it's like the midway point between Detroit and Flint. Inner city blues, same story.
Right.
And, I just wanted to tell, in the past, when, all the other projects I've done in the past, I just wanted people to know I could rap. I could out-rap. I could rap with the best of them. Then I kind of took a step back and, studied the game, and paid attention to why do people love, J. Cole? Why do people love, whoever's like, popping right now, or, even in the past. And it was like, what I kind of got out of that was, people fall in love with a person's story and that they're like relatable to an artist. And that's what I wanted to do with this. I just wanted to take people to, where I'm from, why I think the way I think, why I move the way I move. You know what I'm saying? And then with a lot of the, and then it's like, it's different. Of course it's different now than when I was growing up. But I still try to like take those stories, take those instances in those situations and just kind of put them into music.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That definitely sounds. I've heard a lot of artists talk about that as far as relatability. Just telling your own story, and that's that's how some of the best came to be. Tupac, DMX, guys like that.
Yeah.
They just put their story out there and didn't apologize for it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, and it's like I said, it's the same kind of thing, man. And even now, and with my own personal, like my life now, I own a sneaker store called Burn Rubber, and that's in Royal, and we sell like the hottest Jordans, Nike, Reebok, Adidas, like the list goes on, and we've done projects with these big companies, and I know from like where I'm from and how people can see me. You know what I mean? They might look at me as a come up. You know what I mean? They might think that I'm rich or I'm I'm making this money off of rap, and I own my own businesses, and I do things like that. And I pay attention to things like that, but I'm the kind of person that I'm like, a lot of the times I think like, why would somebody step to me like that? You know what I mean? But it's not, it's one of those things that's like, that's not my decision. You know what I'm saying? But I have to be prepared to deal with it if it presents itself.
Right, right. And with that album, you had some, not only, displaying your own skills, but you had, you picked out some great production on the album. You had Slum Village on there. You had Mr. Porter. You really had some. I thought you really picked tracks that complemented your style really well.
I appreciate that. Yeah, that's one thing I try to do, and I like just talking to people and working with people in the past. That's one of my strong points, I feel, and it's me not forcing the issue. What I do is, and that's why sometimes it takes me longer to put out projects and do songs, because, I can hear a song today. I can hear the beat today, and it might not make sense for me today, just how I'm feeling in the mode or the zone that I'm in. But I might hear it in 4 or 5 months and be like, yo, this is like, what was I thinking? And then I also like the people that I work with. I'm not into the whole pay for play type thing. So I usually deal with people that I know and that I have relationships with. It's not, all those people, everybody that's featured on my album is is a friend of mine, is somebody that has a mutual respect for work ethic or accomplishments or whatever you want to call it. And that's how I get down. You know what I mean? I'm not into saying like, oh, I need such and such on my album, and just because I think it's gonna sell a couple more copies. I'm not really into that. So the producers, like I went on tour with Slum Village, and we talked about doing songs, and when we got back from off tour, we got in the studio and made a record. You know what I mean? And I think it came out crazy. And the same thing with the Royce the 5'9", and I used to record at Denon's studio, and Denon and Royce used to record there, and then we just developed a relationship and a respect for. Of course, I have a long time respect for Mr. Porter and Royce the 5'9", but they in just kind of being up at the studio and hearing the music that I'm making, they asked me to be a part of my project, so that was dope.
Oh, that's definitely showing the respect that they have for you. I mean, that's definitely amazing.
Yeah.
So you actually kind of touched on something that I've spoken about with a few people, where you talked about when a lot of times artists say, okay, I want to do this, put this song out or get this feature or put this together, just so I can reach this specific market or that specific market. It doesn't have a lot to do with, an organically put together track. And I was just wondering that if you could put together one track, with any artist that you want, obviously including yourself, not like a top 5 or anything like that, but just a track that you feel would be, really great to put together with you and a couple of other artists, who do you think you would pick to be on that track?
Yeah, that's actually a great question, because I honestly don't think like that. You know what I mean? Like I just said, I think I usually it's the people that I have some form of relationship with. But I guess like my all time favorites. You know what I mean? As far I won't even say all time favorites, but if I had the opportunity to make a song with any producer, my first choice would be Pharrell.
Okay.
And this just the sound, not even the sound anymore. It's with Pharrell, I believe it's what he pulls out of an artist, and whether he even knows that he's doing it or not. But for him to work with the vast amount of artists that he's worked with, and it's it all has his flavor to it, but it all has their sound. And that's what I love about that. And then, he's just so creative. As far as MCs, like I said, man, my favorite MCs, I guess somebody that I haven't worked with, Um, Man, I really can't say. That maybe I don't want to give like a you know like a the easy way out, but you know J. Cole maybe. You know what I'm saying? Kind of the people that are in the same lane and in the same wave that I'm on. You know, maybe like I really rock with Dom Kennedy. I rock with
Okay.
I rock with Mac Miller. I think Mac Miller's dope. Even you know ASAP Rocky I think is dope too. I like the you know the wave that they're on.
Yeah, that definitely sounds good. And I think like you said that they really fit into the you know the lane that you have that you've kind of carved for yourself with your album. And I was just wondering, you know, what project is next for you? Are you working on anything at the moment? Are you doing shows instead? I just wanted to see what you had going on right now.
Yeah, so right now I'm pushing the project, the Ivy Life that I just dropped. I'm a firm believer in like if I take a year or you know even longer to produce or to produce a product, you know I'm not gonna put it out and stop pushing it after a month. You know what I mean?
Right.
So to me that just makes no sense. And I know a lot of people that does that, and it you know might make sense for them, but for me it doesn't. So I'm gonna continue to push this project. Always making music. You know, I've thought about the next project. One of my favorite producer that I've worked with is my man 14KT. And he's from Michigan, like the Ann Arbor area, the Ann Arbor emcee area, but he lives out in LA right now. So he did a track on there called on my album called Right Here, and he's pretty much been on every project that I've done. But we were talking about doing a concept album and doing like a whole project together. So that's like
Nice.
right now that would be you know, if to answer that question right now, I think that's it. And you know, it'll be a thing where like, you know, it's gonna be something we're gonna go in there and knock it out. You know, do however many songs, and you know, try to get some, you know, push it the independent route, try to get some distribution, and try to you know, get out here and sell it, man. Another thing that I'm really trying to do is get on the road. I've been on a couple tours. I went on tour with Lupe at the end of 2013, I believe, or early 2014. I went on tour with Slum Village. I went on a European tour with Slum Village last year around this time, and then after that, we went out for a couple spot dates out, you know. But I'm really trying to get on the road, man. Get out and let the people hear this music.
Oh, nice. And I think I saw a flyer where you're going to be opening up for Joe Budden next month, I believe.
Yep. I got a show with Joe Budden's November 11th, and it's in my hometown in Pontiac. So I got that. And I got, it's crazy, man. I started working out and I started boxing. So I'm doing this, charity boxing event where I'm going to be boxing a guy from around here, and I'm putting on this big event, and it's going to be like 3 or 4 undercard fights, and we're going to donate money to charity. But it's going to be, we're going to really do it up. We're going to do like, you know, like the Floyd Mayweather, All Access videos and stuff like that. We're going to do all that and have a weigh-in. It's going to be pretty big.
You read my mind, because that was actually the next thing I was going to ask you about, because I did see that you had posted some things about your charity that you were going to be working on.
Yeah.
And I just want to ask you, how important do you think that is, you know, for artists? I mean, you know, a lot of artists, you know, they kind of have their vanity charities where, I mean, I don't mean to downplay it, but, you know, they might give away a couple, you know, turkeys at Thanksgiving, and, you know, then the rest of the year they really don't do anything else. How important is it for an artist to really actually, you know, stay in continuous contact with the community and helping out with whatever they can?
Man, I think that's the only way to be. With anybody, that if you have a platform, or if you have, you know, whether it's younger people or whether they're less fortunate, or not even that, if you just have people looking to you for anything, you know, I feel that it's your duty, and that you have to you know, give back to those people, and you know, to those people that have paid $15 to come see you perform, or paid $10 for a CD or whatever. But you know, it's all about reaching back and giving the next generation a little game, a little, you know, try to make it easier for the next person. Because you know, a lot of the times, man, I talk about all these MCs and all these celebrities and all these people that well, I won't say celebrities, but all these people that's talking about how much money they got. You know, it's like, yo, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And of course, you know, like now it's a thing where it's like you're rich or you're poor. You know what I'm saying? Like it's much more money as I may have than the next man. We're all literally a couple paychecks away from being broke, and a couple bad decisions away from being broke. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's kind of one of those things where it's like each one teach one. And that's another thing I really respect about like J. Cole, man. I'm not the biggest J. Cole fan. Like I respect him as an artist. You know, and I respect his pen game. But what I really respect about J. Cole is that, like, you know, when something popping off, you know, even like he's there. You know, when such and such gets shot down in the middle of the street, you know what I'm saying? He'll pull off tour and go to the spot and talk to the people. And even if it's like, yo, he's not particularly changing anything as far as the laws of the land, or, you know, he's not doing anything like crazy. But, you know, when those people are around, it kind of, those people that live there and they don't see anything like that on a daily basis, it gives those people hope that somebody cares. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he could go off and make, you know, whatever he's making for a show, $50,000 or something crazy for a show, but he chose to come here and kind of see what I'm going through and see what I'm living through. You know, and that's one thing, like I said, I respect about him, and that's one thing that, like, you know, I even do. When I went to St. Louis. We were on tour. I was on tour with Slum Village in St. Louis, and I'm like, yo. They're like, yo, what are you trying to do? I'm like, yo, I have to go to Ferguson. I have to go over there. Like, and I'm not saying that I'm going to go over there and do all this crazy, you know, whatever. I want to go and feel that energy, man, and feel and see what happened and why my people are going through these crazy things, you know?
Right. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And that's, I think, I agree with you. That's really something that's really important to do. Like you said, you know, not everybody has that platform. But people that do have the platform, you know, it really does, it makes a powerful statement. And it brings a lot more attention to things. And,
right.
It can really, really help people out.
Definitely.
Well, since we're doing this interview for Jadakiss' website, we definitely have to ask you a top 5 dead or alive question. And basically it's saying, you know, your top 5 favorites of something, and, you know, it doesn't have to be in any order or anything like that. But what are your top 5 movies of all time?
Oh man, my top 5 movies are Belly.
Okay.
We got Ferris Bueller's Day Off, all time favorite. What else? Let me see more movies. State Property. I think it's State Property 1. I like cheesy movies, man. What else is another movie? Oh, I always go back to Happy Gilmore is like one of my favorite movies. So
that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Happy Gilmore. Yeah, hold on. Belly, Happy Gilmore. What else?
Ferris
Bueller's Day Off.
State Property 1.
Oh yeah, and man, it's the craziest movie. It's with what is his name, man? It's called Freddie Got.
Oh, the Tom Green.
The Tom Green. That was one of the funniest movies of all time, man. And I that's like a low key sleeper. And but yeah. I'll put Finger in there for sure.
Yeah. My guy Stan Spit, he'll be happy to hear that you like Belly. He had a scene in there.
Yeah, and how crazy! Let me tell you something about Stan. You know Stan Spit?
Yeah, Stan Spit. That's my guy. Yeah.
How crazy is this, man? So listen, my name used to be Octane, right? So that was like when I was DJing, my name was DJ Friction. and it was like, spelled Prikshun, like just, and it was just something like at the time I came up with, and it stuck, right? So then when I started rapping, my name was Octane, and I always hated that, but it was one of those things where like, you kind of had to come up with a name. I was in a crew, and it was like, we were similar, like how everything was set up was similar to like Wu-Tang and everything. So, my name was Octane, and I never liked it. So once I kind of got out of that group, I started to, I started kind of doing my solo thing, and I was trying to come up with a new name, right? So because of that movie, because of Belly, we used to watch Belly so much. One of my homeboys, we used to always be like, how you could say like, like joking, like you look like, or you remind me of such and such when you don't at all. So they used to say I look like, if I was in Belly, cause a lot of people say I look like Nas, but they said if I was in Belly, I would be Stan Spit, right? So, so when I was changing my name, I was like, I was talking to one of my homeboys. His name is Earl Mack, and he was down with like Finally Famous and Big Sean and all that. And he was like, "Yo, Octane is whack, yo." And then he was like, I was like, "Yo, I'm trying to come up with a new name." And he was like, "Yo, you got to go off of what did people call you when you were growing up?" And I was like, "Well, my name is Roland, and people call me Ro, but that's a weak rap name too." So at the time, my growing up, people called me Ro, and at the time, all my friends, because I rapped and because of Belly, would call me Spit. You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of, and I wanted to call myself at first Spit Ro because of Stan Spit. Well, he already had that taken. You know what I mean? But then I was like, Spit Ro doesn't sound stupid, and then it just became Ro Spit. And now everybody, like, my close friends, they just call me Spit. But man, that's crazy. Nice. I love to meet that dude, man.
Yeah. Well, we definitely got to link you guys up because I think he would like that story.
Oh yeah. That's he was one of my favorite actors in the movie. You know what I'm saying? That's dope.
Yeah. It was definitely a big movie, and a lot of the guys out of the camp, DMX was in there, Dean Grease was involved in some things with the soundtrack, I believe, and so. And Stan Spit, and X are close, so they definitely they would definitely have an appreciation for how you came about your name. I think they love stories like that.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. That's what's up.
And here's the part of the interview where you get to call me out in case I didn't do my research well enough. So is there anything that I didn't touch on that you'd like to talk about? Whether it's music, whether pretty much anything about your career. Anything that I completely screwed up and didn't ask you?
No, I think musically it's pretty. It was definitely on point. The only thing that I would touch on is like some of the other things that we've done. We had a reality web series with Shady Films. And it was based upon a store, like me and my business partner, we own a store called Burn Rubber. Like I was saying, it's, sneaker store. We've done collaborations with New Balance to Reebok to like all these brands. And, so that, they got the store. That's burnrubbersneakers.com is the website. And then, the reality series that we did 2 seasons. It's on YouTube. If you look up Detroit Rubber, you'll see all that, and it touches on me as an artist, and and some of the things I had going on, actually recording this project. And then the next thing, we have a shoot coming out like next week with Puma. It's the first the first project that we've done with Puma, and it drops at our store on October 30th. And then it should drop 2 weeks later, worldwide. You know what I mean? So it should be out there. Hopefully the interview is out.
Oh yeah. The interview will definitely be out this week. It doesn't take us long for a turnaround. So we'll definitely have the interview up for you this week. Like I said, it'll be on YouTube as well as, So Raspy, the actual website. But we really appreciate your time, and we really thank you for, taking the time out to talk to So Raspy and and kind of giving us your story. I really appreciate that.
For sure, man. Thank you. I appreciate you, like, you know, even having any interest in anything coming out of Michigan or coming out of Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Because we've had for years, Detroit has been looked at, you know, in a sour eye, but it's always been, you know, as far as back as you can think or remember, some of the greatest music, and, you know, not even just hip hop, but just some of the greatest music ever made has come out of Detroit. You know, and then you start talking about Dilla, and you start talking about the Eminems and the Royce the 5'9" of the world. And even now, you look at the Black Milks and the Danny Browns and the Guilty Simpsons, and the list kind of goes on, man. So I'm just kind of proud to be a part of that lineage in that history now.
Oh, definitely. Ironically, just the other day, I interviewed Mark One, and he and I were actually talking about something similar. And I mentioned that, you know, I'm from Philly, and I felt like, you know, Philly and Detroit are two of the most underrated music cities, you know, out there.
Definitely.
You know, whether it's with hip hop or anything else, really.
For sure.
And because the reason we brought it up is because I actually asked him the question about, you know, who would you like to work with on the song, and he said Royce 5'9" and Beanie Siegel. And I thought, you know, that's a crazy combination. And then we kind of got onto the Philly and Detroit aspect of it.
Yeah.
But you're right about the Detroit artists. I mean, there's so many really, really talented guys, you know, and not just battle rappers, not just this, that, you know, song makers, and I think there's a lot of talent out, and like I said, not just Detroit, but also Michigan, obviously, you know, with yourself.
For sure, definitely. And yeah, it's funny, man, because I remember having a conversation. I was in the studio. Marv is like one of my best friends, like past rap or past music, you know what I'm saying? But he's like one of my closest friends, and we were in the studio one day, and we were trying to think of a Philadelphia MC that was whack, and we couldn't. There's never been a whack Philly rapper ever. You know what I'm saying? Like now everybody in Philly, if you decide that you're gonna start rapping or you're gonna pick up a pen, you're gonna be dope. And that's crazy. We was in the studio for like an hour and some change, just thinking like, no, you know, thinking about such and such. It's like, no, he was dope. He was super dope. You know, you think like, oh, Eve, no, yeah, Eve's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And then you keep going back and you start saying like, yo, I can't think of one. When we got to the point where we were saying like, I can't even think of one whack verse out of somebody out of Philly. Black Thought. You know what I'm saying? One of the greatest. If you come across somebody from Philly that's whack, man, shoot me a text message or shoot me an email. I want to hear it.
Well, that's what I was saying to him, that, you know, at one point people didn't realize, you know, half of Rockefeller was from Philadelphia. And,
definitely, yeah.
Yeah,
and that, like all those dudes, man. That was my era. You know what I mean? Like another one of my favorites that I wasn't even just thinking about, but PD Crack. You know what I'm saying? And luckily, like I've had the opportunity. I did a song with Freeway. I did songs with Freeway. But PD Crack was like one of my favorites, man. And if I ever get the opportunity to meet that guy or do a song with him, I don't even know how I'm gonna get through the song. I'm gonna be so excited.
Well, that's good though. That's good. That shows the passion that you have for it.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, but so like I said, we definitely appreciate, you know, your time, and it's definitely an honor for us to interview you as well. I think it's really important to get to the guys that, you know, are putting in work and really putting out quality music, and that's what I really wanted to do with these features for So Raspy, and we appreciate you, you know, being a part of that.
Dope, I appreciate you for having me.